me, 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 me. Boop, 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 boop. All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Brandon Man, still with no fucking face cam. We're gonna be playing some more Super Mario Bros. I think we're getting to that point where we need to start talking about like what game I'm going to start playing next because this is I might finish this by like the end of the fucking night. I'm gonna be honest. Let's see. Okay, it's unlisted still. Whoopsie. Hold on. That'd be crazy. See, how do you edit stream? Oh, edit. Let this go public. Done. Save. And yeah, now we have a public stream. Hey! It is your boy, Brand the Man. Just do a few quick live checks real quick to make sure everything's like, you know, nice. It should be good. To be honest, yeah. I don't see why we wouldn't be okay. God, I really hate ads. So we're gonna be watching some videos, just chill stream, like nothing really too crazy, just reacting over some stuff. Just checking how the stream is handling them. Alright, so I mean it sounds good to me. I don't know why I wouldn't complain anymore. Alright. Let's play some Mario and watch some horrible power. Actually, let me stop. I don't know if this guy's a horrible power scaler. I don't want to just start shit talking, and I have no idea like what his video's about. I mean, he could be a very good power scaler, right? He could just be that guy, and we just won't know. Let's get started though.
Gojo. This is a debate that actually isn't brought up as a lot as opposed to something like Goku versus Gojo, which, shameless plug, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But this is mostly a debate worth talking about because of Gojo's complex abilities, with people always comparing him due to his abilities like the Limitless, which allows Gojo to pretty much never be touched. In this video, I'll be going over how Naruto could potentially fare up against such an ability, and who I personally think wins this specific matchup. Gojo is a character from the series known as Jujutsu Kaisen, where he would massively upset.
Let's be clear. Naruto utterly dog wipes Gojo, no matter what. He's touching him. Disgustingly touching him, actually. That's pretty much it.
Skill from the likes of Dagon, who with his domain expansion, actually created an entire island. This is a very interesting way of actually scaling Jujutsu Kaisen, and a lot of people don't actually agree with domains scaling to OP. However, even if you do think this, Gojo would 100% scale to this, since we literally see him spam domain expansion several times during his fight with Sukuna, and even Dagon's domain expansion is capable of being held up by Dagon.
I don't want to say he's yapping, but how many times did Gojo pop domain? It wasn't that many. He didn't pop it several times. Because, like, it was their initial clash. I feel like at most it was 4. Several times is absolutely fucking insane. I don't think that's true, but let me stop dick sucking him.
Dagon for multiple days to possibly weeks at a time, as this was the hideout Kenjaku and gang were using. But just to sort of answer a lot of questions, since I've covered both Naruto and Gojo several times on the channel, yes, Naruto is blatantly stronger, and it's not close. This is mainly due—
This is true. Naruto utterly molests Gojo. He molests the first, actually. It's kind of sad what he does to them.
Due to things like Kaguya pretty much just nuking dimensions using her expansive True-Seeking Orb, which the data books actually claim that after this orb quote-unquote destroys the dimensions, nothing will be left behind. This is mainly important due to the fact that we see moons as well as stars within one of the lesser dimensions, and even the Genesis dimension, which contains more chakra than the others, was still going to be nuked by Kaguya using the orb, which Naruto at half chakra would scale to base infused Momoshiki, who is stronger than Kinshiki, who is actually stated by Sasuke to be a threat that is surpassing Kaguya. This would essentially scale Kaguya in that large star to potentially even solar system ranges of power, depending on certain calcs you use for the actual orb itself. However, I actually covered Naruto's AP within my Naruto vs. Asta video, so if you want a more detailed explanation on where Naruto scales, then consider watching that video. This becomes even more
fuck
apparent when you
you.
consider the things like the Bijou within the series being able to just straight up nuke mountains, and potentially even more than that if you consider that these explosions actually show the curvature of the Earth.
Christ.
Who Naruto in Sage Mode in the Pain Invasion arc would scale above most Akatsuki members who are stated to be at the level of a Bijou. This would pretty much mean that even lower end feats within the series trump over even the highest feats within Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay, wait, holy crap, I'm about to die. Jesus Christ. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's be clear when we say things like this, right? When we say things that, like, Akatsuki members rank to Bijus, that's not true. I think the statement was that most Akatsuki members, like, ranked to Jinchuriki. But the actual tailed beasts themselves, no. I don't think that's true. You could make the argument that like some could like maybe like take on a Biju 1v1, maybe. And I think like the only ones you could even give that to is like Itachi and Obito. Maybe fucking Nagato. Maybe. But like even then he was like dying and a sage mode Naruto was giving him problems. Like, anyone who has a hacks ability, maybe they can, like... I wouldn't even say they could beat a fucking tail beast. I'm gonna be honest. I think the only one who can actually, like, beat, quote-unquote, or, like, restrain, maybe Obito. Sorry, I'm yawning. What's wrong with the thumbnail? You don't like the thumbnail? I thought the thumbnail was pretty good, actually. But, yeah, I'm not finna make the argument that like, oh yeah, they can beat the fucking they can beat tailed beasts. That's kind of insane. Alright. Back to Mario! Wait, on back to video?
Well, unless you consider things like Sukuna being able to destroy the world on the Jujutsu Kaisen volumes, as well as Yuki's curse technique potentially...
Jesus Christ, that is... Hold on, wait a minute. Wait, what did you just say? I'm sorry, what?
The highest feats within Jujutsu Kaisen. Well, unless you consider things like Sukuna being able to destroy the world.
Sukuna being able to destroy the... See, I hate power scalers. Obviously, when they say that, they're saying that, like, Sukuna can, like, destroy, like, you know, the world itself, in the sense, like, he'll, like, dismantle the governments, and, like, make, like, living on Earth, like, living hell. They're not saying Sukuna has, like, the blatant power to just destroy planet Earth. Jesus Christ, the media literacy, man, come on.
On the Jujutsu Kaisen volumes, as well as Yuki's curse technique, potentially turning her into a planet buster, as world, in the context of the series, is only ever referred to when talking about the planet, or even Hikari having infinite cursed energy in his jackpot state, which, if you use character stats and profiles, could potentially qualify Jackpot Hikari for High Universal, which we aren't using because the first Battle Wiki is better.
Hello? Jackpot Hikari to Universal? What the fuck are we talking about? This is why we don't trust wiki pages. This is why we don't listen to wiki pages. What in the hell are we talking about? Jackpot Hikari Universal? In terms of what? In terms of luck? Does he have universally good luck? Yeah. Jackpot Hikari, we're scaling him to Universal? Are we high? Are we on Jesus. Well, maybe Donald Trump was right about the fentanyl crisis, okay? Maybe Donald Trump wasn't wrong. Maybe he was actually cooking. MJ can handle the five BBCs. Trust me. I know she can. Trust.
In my opinion. So saying Naruto is superior in power is objectively correct. But as I said at the beginning of the video, the main thing that makes Gojo as a combatant virtually unstoppable is his curse technique called the Limitless. Now, the Limitless technique is completely passive, which we actually find out within the Hidden Inventory arc, and what this Limitless essentially does is create an infinite space between him and his opponent. This infinite space slows down opponents and objects intended to inflict harm upon Gojo. Gojo's ability does not function as a conventional barrier or wall that permits attacks to pass through. Instead,
my
what it
God.
actually does is
Fuck
effectively
you, fuck
prevent
you,
them
fuck
from
you.
ever
No,
actually
please,
reaching
please, I'm
gojo,
begging.
unless the attacker possesses an attack that does not travel or can move at infinite or immeasurable speeds. We actually see Jogo attempt to touch Gojo, which during this fight, we actually see that Jogo's hand doesn't actually come to a complete stop. Instead, what actually happens is that it's being slowed down infinitely due to the spatial manipulation happening due to
Okay,
Gojo's
hold on.
technique.
Even then, even if I want to give Jackpot Hikari Town, right? I could give Jackpot Hikari Town. I can, but like, that's if he hits them consistently. Hikari doesn't have the damage output to like just level an entire city or town, right? If he hits Jackpot consistently, then maybe yeah, over time. But flat out just saying that like if he keeps hitting Jackpot, he's just fucking like he's that level. It's like what are we talking about? Hello? Are we high?
This is actually described by Gojo to be the Achilles and the Tortoise Paradox. The Achilles and the Tortoise Paradox is a classic thought experiment that highlights the concept of infinite divisibility and the nature of motion. It was famously formulated by the ancient Greek philosopher named Zeno. The paradox goes as follows. Achilles, a swift Greek hero, challenges a tortoise to a race.
My bad,
However,
my
to
bad,
make it
Jesus.
fair, he gives the tortoise a head start, which will
Let's see. What's up, Doggo Deliveries? How are you? How you doing, buddy? You good?
say that tortoise starts 10 meters ahead of Achilles. Now, Zeno argues that if Achilles wants to overtake the tortoise, he must first reach the point where the tortoise started. However, by the time Achilles actually reaches that point, the tortoise will have moved a short distance ahead, which we'll say it traveled 1 meter. Now, Achilles must reach this new point, but by the time he does, the tortoise will have moved again. Even if it's only by a fraction of a meter, the process continues infinitely. The paradox arises because Achilles seems to be faced with a series of infinitely many smaller distances that he must cover to actually reach said tortoise. According to Zeno, since there are an infinite number of smaller distances, Achilles will never be able to overtake the tortoise and actually win the race.
Fuck
However,
you.
this paradox is resolved by understanding the concept of an infinite series and the nature of motion. In reality, Achilles will eventually overtake the tortoise and win the race. This is possible because we can sum an infinite series of progressively smaller distances in a finite amount of time. Mathematically, the paradox assumes that the sum of an infinite series of decreasing distances
Wait, no.
is also infinite.
Wait, no. You can't just try to solve. Wait, stop. You can't just try to solve the paradox. Wait, what? You can't try to solve the paradox by simply saying that, oh, this is going to have a finite amount of time, blah, 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 blah. That's not how that works. You're literally talking outside of quantum physics, right? This is also like why we can't travel at the speeds of light, because there's an infinite, it would take an infinite amount of acceleration and an infinite amount of time to reach the speed of light, therefore making that a paradox. You can't just say, oh, we can solve this paradox by completely ignoring the fundamentals of the paradox, and this is how this would like end. That doesn't work that way, especially not for a character like Sukuna or anybody else. But like if you're massively faster than like the distance, I guess you can like cover it, but that's not even what you're saying. Hello? Oh, we're just yapping at this point. Jesus, holy shit, we're just yapping.
But in calculus, we know that the sum of certain infinite series can converge to a finite value. In the case of
True.
Achilles and the tortoise, the sum of an infinite series of distances converges to a finite value, which allows Achilles
No,
to catch up
as
and
I
pass
just
the
explained.
tortoise. This paradox serves as a philosophical puzzle, challenging our intuition
I don't
about
think
the
he knows. I don't think he knows how Gojo's powers work. I mean, he explained it right. It is based off Zeno's paradox, but the explanation he's trying to explain it with, he's completely fundamentally just taking out aspects of the paradox that makes it a paradox and saying this is how you solve the paradox. And that's like that's not how that works. Can't do that.
nature of motion and the concept of infinity. This is the impossibility that Gojo is capable of bringing forth into reality via his technique. So, no, Gojo isn't invincible, and he can also be harmed and killed in several ways. Gojo not only has his infinity, but also has the extensions of the limitless curse technique passed down from the Gojo family.
It's kind of interesting.
Blue is achieved when the
It's
limit.
interesting because I brought this up in my Flash video when I was talking about Flash versus Gojo, and I even brought up a similar point that like the Flash technically could just bypass infinity because he could just travel that distance in an infinite amount of acceleration, like within I mean, if you want to argue an infinite amount of time, you can do that. But I'm just saying, just based off pure like infinite acceleration, he could like bypass infinity. Like he can travel the distance to reach Gojo with like pretty little to no ease because the Flash just has like broken speed hacks like that. Um, does Naruto have broken speed hacks like that? I don't know. You can make that argument because like I don't know. Fundamentally, the Flash is just speed. So, but Naruto's not like he's not on the same level as the Flash. So it's interesting how he says that. Wait, who said that? What do you mean? Who said what? What do you mean? Am I tripping? That person's username? Oh, the of the YouTuber? The YouTuber. Shit. Hold on. Not even a fucking YouTube. Wait. I think. Oh fuck. What's his name? I don't want to fuck. Hold on. My bad. It is Toaster XD. He said that. He's the kid who says Sukuna's world cutting slash was capable of slicing the sun. Oh, that guy who's in my comment section? Yeah, he's fucking stupid. I wish him the best though. Like I don't want him to get hate, but that was such a fucking dumb. I'm trying to stop saying retarded, but that's such an autistic, brain dead, troglodyte fucking thing to say. I've never heard anyone say that before.
Limitless user greatly amplifies the amount of cursed energy poured into his
Oh my
technique.
god, 6 people, thank you.
This brings the concept of negative numbers as well as negative distance into reality, forcing real space to compensate and fill in the area by drawing everything toward the impossibility, which generates a strong force of attraction, similar to a powerful magnet or a black hole. However, since cursed energy is naturally negative energy, multiplying two sources of cursed energy against itself would naturally create positive energy, which is called the reverse curse technique.
True.
In doing this, Gojo is able to reverse
At
the
least
effects
he
of the
knows
strength
how
of
to
Limitless, and rather than
fucking
the
talk about reverse
attractive
curse
force
technique.
of blue, red is the repulsion of said force. By mixing the two infinities, he creates an imaginary mass called Hollow Purple. This isn't necessarily all of Gojo's abilities, as even within Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 0, the Limitless technique is stated to function at the atomic level,
True.
which grants it durability negation on that level. This obviously is an existence erasure, since the Limitless functioning on this level completely disproves any notion that it is conceptual or intangible erasure.
Wait. Did he? Wait, I'm sorry. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Did he say that's existence erasure?
To function at the atomic level, which grants it durability negation on that level. This obviously is an existence erasure, since the Limitless functioning on this level completely disproves any notion that it is conceptual.
Some of these scalers sound to get bullied in real life. Yeah, some of them. Some of them you can tell, like they just don't have like a fucking lick of testosterone, and like they've been bullied, they've been shoved into lockers, they've never had a kiss from a girl or a boy. If they're into that, like no one loves them. They just sound like they've been abused their entire life. Some of them.
Or intangible erasure. This is simply Duraneg on the atomic level. Because of this, you probably couldn't simply assert that the Limitless could function on any other level aside from the atomic, since saying this would simply fall under the no limits fallacy, which asserts that when someone states that because something has not demonstrated any limits, or only certain limits, then it has none, or only the ones actually demonstrated. Meaning that if something like, say, the Totsuka blade, which has no physical form because it's not a physical object, couldn't be filtered on the atomic level because its material literally doesn't exist, which is something that I covered in Itachi vs. Gojo, but I didn't really go over the specifics of why it would filter, because I assumed it was pretty self-explanatory. Now you might be wondering how Naruto actually bypasses this. Now, for starters, I'd like to mention the truth-seeking orbs. The truth-seeking orbs is something that Naruto gained when Haruka.
Okay. So, I have 3 theories on how Naruto could do this. And I'm curious to know if you guys have are thinking the same. So, one is the truth-seeking orbs. But there's another way Naruto can bypass infinity. I want to know if you guys in chat know it. I'll kiss anyone who gets it right. Anyone. Okay, damn, I guess you guys don't want fucking kisses. Fuck you guys. No.
gave Naruto 6-pass Senjutsu, and he was able to use the Sage 6-pass KCM alongside it, which granted him the True Seeking Orbs. Now you're probably wondering how these would bypass Infinity. During Naruto's fight with Kaguya, we would actually learn that Kaguya's dimensions were actually going to be obliterated by a True Seeking Orb. Zetsu comments on the inclusion of time and space within this vaporization. Now keep in mind that True Seeking Orbs are made up of chakra, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what it is.
No
Zetsu
jutsu?
actually comments that the
Funny,
True Seeking Orb
probably,
created by
actually. He probably could do
Kaguya
that.
is literally a new time space, which would potentially mean that the regular True Seeking Orbs are hence small pockets of time space, operating on a 4th dimensional level. This would potentially also qualify Naruto for 40 AP if we were to consider Versus Battle Wiki standards for Universal Plus scaling.
It would.
However, we
Thank
already
you.
established that Naruto is indeed superior
You think
to
you know
Gojo.
it? You think you know
and
it? Okay, say it. Say it. Like I said, I'll fucking tongue kiss you right now if you get it right. I fucking hate this level. I can't stand this level right here. This is the worst Mario. Oh my god, it's the worst Mario in this level in this fucking game. Clone to. Honestly, there's a lot of shit Naruto could do and just fuck up Gojo. The power scaling is pretty fucking tipping. I forgot how it works, but he's making this slower. Okay, yeah. So essentially, the way Infinity works is that he takes a finite distance and turns it into an infinite distance. So the more he's, like I said, it's explained by way of Zeno's paradox. Zeno's paradox essentially states that like you have someone like Achilles and he races a turtle. To be fair, Achilles lets the turtle go ahead and like gets a head start, and then Achilles starts running. But each time that like Achilles reaches a certain, each time Achilles reaches a position the turtle's at, the turtle will move faster and not faster, but he'll move to a different point, essentially shifting the goalpost. God, I'm stuttering. Sorry. Shifting the goalpost from where the turtle was to where it is right now. So if the turtle gets to A first, and then Achilles catches up to A, the turtle will be at B, and then Achilles will have to catch up to, he'll have to catch up to B, but the turtle will be at C. So then Achilles will have to be at C, and then like so on and so forth. But it's supposed to be infinite, right? There's an infinite like fucking. God, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering so much. Am I stupid? There's an infinite amount of distance traveled, basically. That's what's happening.
stats. However, in order to actually say that Gojo's Infinity could filter a 4th dimensional True Seeking,
it can't. It literally got fucking one-shotted by the world cutting slash, and all the world cutting slash is basically just Maharaga's adaptation. It's like cutting quote-unquote reality itself. That's how Sukune explained it. So if you have something like a truth-seeking orb that is quite literally known to like shatter fucking dimensions and universes relatively to like what they can do in comparison to what Kaguya was doing, yeah, it's it's definitely going through Gojo's Infinity, and that one shots Gojo. If Gojo gets touched by a truth-seeking orb, he literally gets one shot. Jesus.
Orb would again have no basis on it, as you couldn't necessarily prove that Infinity can filter on a 4th dimensional level or filter 4th dimensional attacks. An argument that I've seen be used in regards to a 4th dimensional Infinity would be something like the worm inventory curse that Toji had on his shoulder, being stated to contain a 4th dimensional inside, and Gojo's hollow purple being able to tear right through it.
True?
However, the worm's mouth is actually...
Wait, stop. See, I can't... Oh my god, hold on. I don't think that's true. Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, my bad. Full screen this again. I don't think that's true for 1 second. Hold on. I feel like he's just fucking yapping right there. Let's go double check this. Whoopsie. Toji's worm 4D. No, that's a yeah. God damn it! Hold on. I'm sorry. This is doing too much. Thank you. I don't want to download Chrome. Thank you. Is Toji's worm 4D? I feel like he's just fucking yapping. Yeah, it's not necessarily a barrier. It's true. But what if someone was fast, they traveled far enough a distance to actually get to Gojo? Yeah, that's what I said. I did a video like this. Hold on. I did a video exactly with that premise when I did my who would win Flash versus Gojo video. I literally said that. I was like, oh, what if I'm just gonna open up Chrome again. Here, we're gonna do this. Oh, fuck. No, I don't want it right there. I don't want it right there. No. Sorry, my God. Sorry. I know I'm using two monitors. Stop it. I'm sorry. I don't know how this shit fucking works.
Actually multi-dimensional.
I don't think that's how that works.
Which basically,
I literally think he's absolutely yapping. I've seen nothing that says like he has like this. It's a 4-dimensional space. And I really wish I had someone who could speak Japanese. I'm not believing that for 1 second. I think this guy is completely talking out of his anus and his fucking, like, his bowel movements. There is no way this worm has like a 4-dimensional space. I don't think that's stated. Does it have like a different, like, separate space to like host weapons and things like that? I'll believe that. But we really have to be careful when we say things like 4D. And like just having like a separate like pocket dimension for like another space, right? Because like you can have a pocket dimension, and that doesn't mean something is 4th dimensional, right? In the ways that we use it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What the fuck is he talking about? See, this is what I mean when I say power scalars are stupid. I'm not saying all power scalars are stupid. I'm not even necessarily saying that this guy's stupid. I mean, that's a stupid fucking take. I don't think that's what that says. I don't think this is what this says. I don't think this is the right translation. I think that's just fucking yapping. But until like I can like I don't feel like fucking trying to type in the kanjis. I'll probably do it later on, but I don't think that's what that says at all. That's fucking yap. 100% that is.
what I'm saying is that it exists on the same plane as Toji, but it's essentially a shared phenomenon. Its technique serves as a gateway to a multi-dimensional realm. It's important to note that the worm isn't inherently.
What are we talking about? Is it 4D or is it just a pocket dimension? You having a fucking pocket dimension doesn't make you have like 4D capabilities. Hello? What are we talking about? What the fuck what are we talking about? Literally, that scales Harry Potter to like, I don't even know what, bro. What are we putting there, like Xeno from Dragon Ball Z? The wizards in Harry Potter scale higher than Xeno then. Like, this is why power scaling gets fucking stupid to a point when you try to like unilaterally have all these same terms but use them like throughout franchises, because it doesn't matter. Because like, I feel like even if I want to grant him that this does say 4-dimensional space or 4-dimensional storage, I don't think Akutame is using 4-dimensional in the way that like 4-dimension is used in the DC universe, or in the way 4-dimension is traditionally used in these arguments. I feel like this is just synonymous with like pocket dimension, right? I don't think this is saying that the worm has like understands the 4th dimension and can just pull shit out of the 4th dimension. I don't think that's what he meant. Even if I want to grant him that this is what this says. Post time skip, Kakashi actually fucking solos the first. People think Kakashi got weaker in Boruto, and that's just not true. Kakashi is oh, hold on. Let me move the. I'm sorry. Wait, that's my fault. Let me move the live chat down a little bit. That's my fault, guys. Sorry. I don't like how this looks. I'm gonna move this like right there, and then make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I like that. I like that. You guys like that? I like that too. Yeah, I don't want to stop it. What are we doing? Go back. I don't know. I don't believe when people say shit like this. I don't understand. I don't know. I'm not giving him that the fucking worm from JJK is 4D. So when I say power scalars are absolutely ridiculous human beings, if you can even call them that, this is what I mean.
Multi-dimensional, and all it really is an entry point within its mouth. Even attempting to destroy the gateway won't yield any results, as the portal itself is also 3-dimensional. It's very similar to the reasons that Saitama isn't 4D due to his hyperspace feats, as it's like me saying that I'm building level because I can destroy a door to said building. Hell, you might even be able to make the argument that Sage Mode Naruto could potentially beat Gojo, using the Frog Kumite, which the primary function of the Frog Kumite involves harnessing the surrounding natural energy present both around the sage and the intended target. What this essentially does is generate a tangible impact on the target resembling a punch, which this pretty much just uses nature energy which is already present within Gojo if we're using verse equalization, while in Naruto's case, it permits the environment regardless of any actions taken. Naruto simply needs to activate this energy on Gojo to initiate its desired outcome. which the energy doesn't require physical travel to actually reach the intended target,
God, I'm so
as
lucky I didn't
Naruto
fall off.
only needs to be in close proximity to actually activate its effects. But Toaster, what about
No,
Hollow Purple?
No,
Well, we can actually get Hollow Purple to FDL if we use the fact that it's actually imaginary mass, which imaginary mass has a squared mass that is negative, meaning that it will always travel faster than light.
Okay, now
While
this is,
you can
this,
maybe
this is something that I definitely know is not true. People like to say that it's imaginary mass because Gojo said imaginary technique. If I'm not mistaken, okay, let's just... I gotta stop Xing out on this screen, my bad, guys. Oopsie. I skipped so far up, but
function of the frog kumai involves harnessing the
that's
surrounding
not
matter
imaginary.
to
Like,
achieve
it's
its
not
desired
imaginary
outcome,
mass.
which
It's
the
not.
energy
It's just not. I hate when people fucking say this. I can't stand this talking point. It's horrible. Hold on. It's an imaginary technique. I mean, I guess he does say, like... Does he say imaginary mass? Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is a different talking point. When people say that, like, it just one-shots matter. Like, it destroys matter. It is imaginary mass. That's my fault. But it just doesn't destroy, like, matter. That's the talking point that people like to bring up that I fucking hate. Like, oh, it just destroys matter. Anything it touches, it just destroys matter. And it's like, are you okay? Like, is everything good at home? Is your dad beating you or something like that? Like, why are you crying out like this? Like, why are you lashing out and just, like, lying about things? Like, you know, like lashing out like this is a sign that, like, you're getting abused at home. Like, when people fucking say that, it's like, Jesus Christ, stop. Hollow Purple doesn't just destroy matter. That's never been stated. And even if we can look at the manga and anime, when Hollow Purple touches people, it touched Hanami. It touched Sukuna. It touched all the trees and the ground that was shot at. Like, when Gojo shot it at Hanami, and that wasn't destroyed. It wasn't like, the matter wasn't completely eviscerated. We see burn marks. Like, the effect Hollow Purple does is basically like a fucking ki blast or like burn effect, right? That's essentially all it is. At most, I will give it like, it's like a sun. It's like shooting, it doesn't have the same properties as sun, but in terms of like what it does when something interacts with it, it's basically like a little mini sun. That's all it is. And people like to make it seem like it's just this one shot that can like eviscerate you like it's a fucking Hawkeye from Dragon Ball Super. And it's like, that's not the case. What are we talking about? Gumball could solo like 90% of anime. I know, I have to do the Yoshi jump. That's my fault. I lost him.
energy doesn't require physical travel to actually reach the intended target, as Naruto only needs to be in close proximity to actually activate its effects.
True.
But Toaster, what about Hollow Purple? Well, we can actually get Hollow
know how
Purple
that
to
touched me.
FDL if we use the fact that it's actually imaginary mass, which
Hello?
imaginary mass has a squared mass
What?
that is negative.
How do you
meaning
get
that
it to
will
Hollow?
always
How do you get Hollow Purple to lights faster than light? What the fuck? How do you get Hollow Purple faster than light? Hello? That doesn't even make sense. Sukuna wasn't even able to dodge Hollow Purple, but he was able to dodge lightning? I'm sorry, he wasn't able to dodge lightning? If Hollow Purple is faster than light, then why was he barely dodging lightning? What the fuck are we talking about? This is when I say power skills are stupid, this is what the fuck I mean. What? Huh? So that just puts Maki and Yuji and everyone else that was fighting Sukuna at light speed? Hello? When they were barely dodging Kashima's lightning? Shut the fuck up. Stop saying dumb shit. You don't have to say stuff like this. You don't have to do this. You're just choosing to for fun. And he's bringing up tachyon particles like Hollow Purple is made of tachyon particles? We don't even... In real life, we don't even know if these exist. It's a hypothetical particle. A lot of this is not even used in quantum physics because it breaks like all of the lines and lines of math that we've done, and there's just no place for it to fit. Physicists are still trying to make lines of math that can even potentially put tachyons anywhere in our realm of like the physical realm. It's a hypothetical particle. The fuck are we talking about? This is gonna get demonetized. I'm cursing too much.
Travel faster than light. While you can maybe make the argument that Sage Mode Naruto would not be able to actually dodge this, Sage of the Six Paths Naruto would 100% be able to dodge a light speed attack, as even at the beginning of the war arc in KCM1, he was able to dodge the Raikage, who in his V2 Lightning Cloak can move at light speed, and he was shown completely blitzing it.
Can we not, please?
The argument for Sage Mode Naruto being FTL would come from mainly part 1, with Haku being able to pretty much just move at faster than light speed within his ice mirrors, and Zero-Tailed Cloak form Naruto being able to pretty much just Oli Bro. And if we're talking about Naruto post 6 Paths Senjutsu in base 6 Paths Sage Mode, he was actually shown kicking Truth-Seeking Orbs, which as we established is Duraneg on an even higher level than Hollow Purple, which works on the atomic level. Meaning that if we're talking about Naruto towards the end of Shippuden,
like 3 seconds.
Hollow Purple would absolutely do fucking nothing to Naruto. It's crazy. If we're talking about Sage Mode Naruto, then you might be able to make an argument for Naruto actually being both slower than Hollow Purple and being able to get hurt by Hollow Purple. And if you're using the highest form of speed scaling for Gojo, they might be comparable in Sage 6 Paths.
Sorry, I'm just not saying this. Can I be honest? Gojo isn't close to light speed. True. We need to have somebody. True. Gojo is not close to light speed. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm curious. I'm curious if he ever finished middle school. Yeah. I wonder. What else does he have? Because holy shit, this guy's hilarious. How far could Aizen get in Dragon Ball? Nappa versus Conquest is kinda close. Chat. Nappa versus Conquest is close. This is what we're saying right now.
In the
I guess. Let's see how close Nappa versus Conquest. By the way, Nappa absolutely brutally molest Conquest, okay? Nappa will pin him down and peg him with his tail. I don't know what we're talking about. Nappa just blatantly, like, just outscales Conquest at every interval or every, like, unit of measurement, every metric you want to, like, put these two on the same. Every metric you want to give these two, Nappa just outscales. He just does. I don't know what we're talking about. 3 elite Viltrumites barely blew up one planet. Meanwhile, Nappa I don't even know what his power level was as a baby, but Nappa could blow up a fucking probably a planet at the age of like 6 months. I don't know what we're talking about, but let's see what our boy has to say.
Since season finale of Invincible, we are introduced to a new Viltrumite named Conquest, tasked with the objective to ensure Earth's eventual takeover for the Viltrum Empire.
True.
Twitter is a huge space for matchups, believe it or not.
True.
And with Conquest being the main thing people are discussing right now, they are putting him up against Nappa, the Saiyan warrior who gave the Z Fighters arguably one of the biggest fades they've ever ran. Both warriors of a near-extinct alien warrior race sent to conquer planets in the name of an even greater evil. Both are similar in more ways than just being bald. Nappa is shown to take quite a bated pleasure in destroying and conquering worlds, casually causing destruction, much like Conquest. Nappa is one of those characters that fans often look back on in later arcs and remember as not that significant. At the time, he was easily capable of defeating Earth's defenses, the Z Fighters, but with the lift of a finger, he became fodder for Goku and Vegeta. Just at a quick glance, Nappa was so much stronger than these characters, who pretty much surpassed anything from OG Dragon Ball, but Tien...
King Vegeta was able to destroy 3 planets while chilling? Yes. Yes, and to be honest, I'm gonna be real. In my humble opinion, Nappa is stronger than King Vegeta, like, Sand Saga arc. I think he got significantly stronger by being in Frieza's Force. That's just me, though. Not a lot to prove that, but I will wholeheartedly believe that.
and literally lost an arm. Unironically, the same way a Viltrumite would have probably done it. One of the first showings we see from Nappa is when he nukes an entire city. This would obviously indicate a
fuck, wait,
city
hold
level
on.
feat.
Oh
However,
my
this
God.
is a very casual display of power for Nappa.
Hold on.
While this feat in comparison to other feats displayed, or feats that Nappa would scale to, isn't necessarily impressive, it does set the stage for what Nappa can do casually and without trying. Piccolo, who was weaker than Raditz, was able to completely blow up a moon in 3 seconds with a
True.
Ki Blast attack. This obviously warrants a
Roshi
moon
was
level
able to
feat.
blow up a
Raditz
moon.
was significantly weaker than the likes of
Oh,
Nappa, yet despite being able to destroy a moon, both Goku and Vegeta
Oh,
were
okay.
essentially fodder to Raditz.
And I
He
wanna
even
kill all of them,
demonstrated his
actually.
strength by tearing off Piccolo's arm and nearly killing Goku. Even back in early Dragon Ball, where, as I mentioned, every character gets outscaled pretty badly in comparison to Z, Master Roshi, with a power level of 180, was able to shoot a Kamehameha wave directly at the moon, which completely vaporized it.
True.
Destroying a moon and vaporizing it are very different, as vaporizing something would
That Kamehameha also that's a dumb fucking point. Like, obviously those two things are synonymous. If I'm vaporizing it, it's a semantical argument. Like, essentially, you still have that like ability to destroy or do damage to the moon. Vaporizing it, sure, is completely different than destroying the moon, but you're still at that level and capable of doing it. Semantical argument, but he's not wrong.
require you to
Also, that Kamehameha Roshi sent, light speed, faster than light speed, which helped with how fast it blew up the moon. Actually,
completely break down the molecules that make up said object. If Master Roshi just blew up the moon into a couple very small
what? The fuck? Wait, I'm sorry. God, this Dragon Ball takes even. Jesus.
vaporizing it are very different, as vaporizing something would require you to completely break down the molecules that make up said object. If Master Roshi just blew up the moon
That's not how they're using vapor. He's using vapor in the sense that, like, you're turning something liquid into a gaseous form. Obviously, that's not what the fuck they meant when they said that in passing in the manga. When they say they vaporize something, they're essentially saying, "Oh my god, you just like destroyed it, you eviscerated it." Why are you trying to make this like a molecular feat when it doesn't have to be? What is the angle? What are we talking about? Hello? Hello?
moon into a couple very small pieces, it wouldn't be nearly as
This
impressive,
guy's
as
channel
we
is
see
fucking
absolutely
hilarious, I'm
nothing
sorry.
left behind in the sky after Roshi vaporizes the moon.
That's
the
not
average
what
distance
he
between the
means.
Earth and the moon is 384,000 kilometers, with Akira
Oh, wait.
Toriyama, the author, stating that the difference between the Earth and the moon, this moon-busting Kamehameha should also at least be approaching the speed of light.
Uh-oh.
Due to reaching the moon within a couple of seconds after being fired. This vaporization is calced at 1.5 yotatons of TNT, which is planet level. Nappa should also be reaching these planet-busting levels of power, because Goku was stated to be at least 1/20th of Nappa's strength during the Saiyan Saga invasion. After calming down and focusing his energy, Goku was able to give Nappa a more even fight before using the Kaioken. With Vegeta
Yeah,
knowing
essentially,
that Goku
that's what
isn't
that
even
means
an
in this
unbeatable
context,
opponent,
right?
if Nappa kept
You
his
mean like
focus.
you're like eviscerating it, you're disintegrating it. You're not. He's using like based on when he brought up like molecular, he's using it in the sense that like you're turning liquid into gas. That's not what happened. And it's like, you don't have to try to make everything like this universal destroying feat. You can just call it what it is. It's a light speed Kamehameha that like had the capability of like fucking destroying the moon. You know, you can say that. It didn't like fucking fundamentally break the molecular structure of the moon. Like, what are we talking about? Hello? Dog? Jesus? Santa? Anybody? What the fuck? Hello?
Which implies that Nappa should at least be planetary in strength, considering Goku was over 20 times stronger, with his power level during his fight with Raditz being a whopping 910, and the initial Kamehameha that Roshi fired being roughly twice as strong as his base stats in his buff form at 180. This Goku
No,
should
no,
be 5
fuck.
times stronger
I
than
don't
the
want the ice
Roshi who
flower.
could fire a planet-busting attack, with Nappa's power level generally being portrayed at around 4,000, or over 20 times stronger than Roshi. Just as a reference, Piccolo, after the Raditz fight, who
That
still was
true?
weaker than Raditz with a power level
Is it generally portrayed as 4,000? I don't think that's true. I think he. I feel like. I don't think that's true, but I don't care that much to like go looking into fucking Dragon Ball data books. I don't, but I'm gonna take your word for it right now. This is the one time I'm gonna like. If you send a 50 gifted member, I don't even know like what the fuck is my rankings at? Like I don't know. If you send like, is that the highest tier? If you send the highest tier, I'm trying to think, what would I do? Huh. Yeah, Nappa's power level. It's generally displayed more than 4,000, right? Because what was Krillin and Piccolo's power level? Okay, if you send 50, I'm trying to think, what would I do? You drop a $50 right now, because I think that's what that means. Oh damn, you're joking. That's crazy. It's okay. Oh shoot, the timer. You don't have to like pay anything. That's good. Just watch the video, man. Have fun.
relative to that of
I
Goku
might lose this level because
could
I forgot to
completely
pause.
vaporize the moon just like Roshi. Only he
fuck.
does this without charging up the attack or putting significant effort
Fuck.
into it, which
That
is
was an
obviously a contrast to Roshi's initial
Fuck.
feat.
Are you
Piccolo
fucking kidding
performing
me?
this feat with less effort
I
has
don't
been
have time to
calced at
do this,
4.82 Yoda tons of TNT, or large planet level, which
I
is
don't have time to
very
do this.
consistent with the basic math involved in their power levels. Some people might contest this due to El Manga
No,
Legendario stating, how much combat power did Piccolo gain after his fusion with Nail? There's no doubt it was significant enough for the scouters to be unable to calculate it. If what he says is true, Frieza in his second form claims to have a combat power of over 8 million, and Piccolo could have surpassed that amount. If a combat power of 10,000 can destroy a planet, it's inconceivable what
Oh,
can be
shit.
achieved at 1 million. People mainly misconstrue this statement to mean a power level of 10,000 is required to blow up a planet, when it's literally saying that a power level of 10,000 can blow up a planet. These are obviously two completely different things and are also consistent with the power scaling of the verse.
I don't know what
A
it is.
Nappa,
I'm
who is
scared.
20 times stronger than a
scared.
Roshi who can
Okay, I did it.
vaporize a moon, should be able to effortlessly blow up planets. As for
I have
speed,
18
we can
seconds to get to that
obviously
door.
use the blast that these characters use as a
14
way to
seconds to
gauge
get to that
said
door.
speed.
Can I do it?
This is due to Ki being able to amp
Oh,
physical
hell no,
stats,
this is
and
swimming
although
level, I
this
can't
isn't
do it.
necessarily a
Can I do
one-to-one
it, chat?
difference, it is very consistent given later feats in the series. If Roshi Kamehameha could travel from the Earth to the Moon at the speed of light, then someone with a power level of 400 should also be able to move at this
Fuck.
speed. Nappa, being 20 times stronger than this, should be in those FTL plus ranges of speed. This should realistically be a low ball, considering that later on, Vegeta, whose power level was only slightly above that of Dodoria, was able to completely no-diff and fodderize him, implicating that as far as the early numbers we get from Dragon Ball's power level system, they are not linear.
Christ, I don't
Just
want
as an
this.
example, the average person in Dragon Ball has a power level of about 5. If we had 80 of these guys, they wouldn't be able to just punch away the earth, as even the difference between Kid Goku and an average person is generally portrayed to be a lot more than that of 10 times. So there are many numbers in between. Nappa being at 4,000 in comparison to Roshi's 180 likely means he's much stronger, though we can't necessarily quantify said difference. Other than this, Nappa doesn't really have any hacks other than ki control, which most Dragon Ball characters have, such as the ability to fly, shoot beams of ki, etc. As even the difference between Kid Goku and an average person
Jesus
is generally
Christ.
portrayed to be a lot more than that, considered stronger than characters.
Hold on, let me read this. All the Z fighters were equal to more powerful than Raditz, who was 1400, 1200. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm agreeing with that. I'm saying I feel like Raditz was displayed to be higher than that, but I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm just fucking delusional. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's just me.
Like Thoth, who can take life energy from people and has shown the ability to wipe out life on entire planets. Omnipotus has become even more powerful, and there's a debate about whether he could reach solar system level power. However, this should be viewed cautiously, since it suggests
Oh my
he
God,
can
you
only
fucking
reach
juke
that over
bitch.
time and at his maximum strength. Through scaling, Dinosaurus was able to evenly fight with pre-time skip Invincible, and was shown to easily overpower an Omnipotus, who was stronger than the one who could devastate a star system. This is somewhat backed up by Brit being absorbed by Thoth, who was surprised by how much energy Brit had. Thoth has absorbed energy from entire planets,
I forget how
so
long
naturally,
this thing is.
Thoth being surprised at the amount of energy Brit possesses, despite that, does show a whole lot. While this doesn't directly prove that level of power, it does support a scaling of continental to potentially planetary levels.
Yeah, definitely stronger
Some people
than
might bring up
4K.
the fact
I
that
don't
it
know
took
what he meant by
Thetis,
that, though.
Invincible, and Omni-Man to destroy Viltrum with a destabilized core. Viltrum has a gravity greater than Earth's, and Thetis mentioned they could have died if they messed up their charge at the planet, but this shouldn't affect their scaling too much, as they had just finished fighting Viltrumites and weren't at their full strength, indicating heavy fatigueness when they emerged to blow up the planet. Plus, this wasn't even Mark's true peak. Because of that, I think it makes sense for at least high-tier Viltrumites to be able to...
Regardless, it took 3 Viltrumites to blow up a planet, even if they were tired, right? And the fact that they had to do all that charging, and even then, if the calculation wasn't right, they couldn't do it? What are we talking about? Hello? This guy's channel is fucking something.
Wipe a planet's surface, or even just outright destroy a planet. When it comes to Conquest specifically, he is confirmed to be as strong as Omni-Man, and he even had the upper hand in their fight. Mark managed to defeat him, but he said he only won because Conquest wasn't taking their fight seriously, which was shown in the Season 3 finale. Overall, Conquest should scale to the feats I mentioned earlier. Regarding speed, the big feats in Invincible mostly focus on travel speed, as it's pretty much confirmed through various sources that their travel speed, reaction speed, and ability to act are all connected. So any flight speed feats are linked to their combat speed. Alan the Alien is also noted for having reflexes that match his reaction speed, which was shown when he was attacked by multiple Viltrumites.
Oh, you're not supposed to touch
this,
those.
pretty much every character who
I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was
Viltrumite
playing Sonic for a second,
is
and I
faster
touched the
than
fucking
light,
ring.
and likely even exceeds massively faster than light speeds, as they can keep up with ships and travel to entirely different galaxies, like when Omni-Man left Earth
I'll give him that.
and went to the Thraxan planet. Conquest should scale
I don't
to
know
the
why he
same
didn't bring
level
this
as these
up, but he used the clip. Viltrumites easily scale, or at least Nolan scales to faster than light speed, because he was just at a black hole and he was able to escape it. That's a faster than light speed, feet right there.
characters, meaning
Oil up is crazy. I'm gonna spit on you.
he could also have planetary level power with casual, massively faster than light speeds. Viltrumites don't really have anything worth noting in specific, other than being able to create their own leverage with flight and clapping with massive force. That's about all it makes sense to. At first glance, Nappa and Conquest seem pretty close in terms of attack power, since they're both in the general range of planet busting.
Yeah.
However,
I wanted to play with y'all on
Conquest should scale to characters
Rivals,
who
but
can
I
achieve
got
planet
too
busting
tired.
powers at their
We might
peak,
play,
while Nappa
literally-
should
I
be
fucking hit the
casually
star.
outclassed.
I hit the
those
star, I hit the
who
star, I
can
hit the
not
star, I
only
hit the
destroy
star!
planet, but probably vaporize it, which is even more impressive. Nappa is much stronger overall, and when it comes to raw strength, he would likely overpower Conquest pretty easily. When it comes to speed, Nappa does fall short, however. And there's not many arguments to support it. Realistically, Nappa should be hitting those FTL plus speeds. You could argue that Goku dodging light beams as a kid during the Red Ribbon Army is light speed, which I can definitely agree with, but it depends on who you ask. Even with the light
I'm
beam
arguing
feats,
that's
Nappa
light
should
speed,
only
yes.
be further into FTL plus.
The only
but
Viltrumite
likely
problem
slower than
is Thrag.
Conquest,
I will
who
give
can travel
Thrag.
between different star systems
I don't
and keep
know.
up with galactic
It
ships.
depends, it
Traveling
depends.
through space is
I could
usually
give,
impressive,
but
as the size
like I said,
of celestial
it
bodies is
depends.
often proved
Because the reason why they were even able to destroy the planet is because it had a destabilized core. I'm not sure if they would have that same luck if it was just them trying to go through a planet with a stable core though. So I don't know. It depends. I don't know.
be much larger than they seem, requiring speeds thousands or even millions of times the speed of light. So, all things considered, Conquest should be able to dodge anything Nappa throws at him. Anything Conquest throws at Nappa probably wouldn't hurt him too much. It might even hurt Conquest more. From there, Conquest could probably outmaneuver Nappa and just trick him.
Anything Nappa throws at Conquest could be easily dodged. What the fuck are we talking about? He's not. First off, he's not dodging Nappa by himself. Nappa is absolutely fucking destroying Conquest. If they want to talk about fighting speed, Nappa destroys Conquest. But also in terms of throwing Ki Blast, I think you realize Ki Blasts just don't scale to like one set speed. The user can make them. I said user like we're talking about fucking JoJo's. The fucking sender of the Ki Blast could make the Ki Blast faster, as we see like with the different like times relative to like who's shooting the Ki Blast. Like if we want to like base speed based on like who blew up the moon faster, like Roshi's like shot at the moon was like slower in time than like when fucking Piccolo blew up the moon. Piccolo's like shot was like 2 seconds. Roshi had like little 5-second interval, just like shit like that. So obviously the Ki Blast like just varies on like how strong the person is at the time. And that's the case. Nappa definitely has enough ki to make his like blast shoot faster than Conquest can react to. I don't understand that point. I don't understand. That's such a. I don't want to say it's a stupid point. That's like the first semi thing that he said that was wrong. That just wasn't utterly fucking brain dead. So like, I'm not gonna like shit on him that much.
Him into blowing up the planet, probably flying away to survive. In character, I can see Conquest
Flying
playing
away?
around as
From Nappa, who just outscales him in speed. What do you mean flying away? Hello? Yeah, Nappa's not letting him fly away. Get a load of this guy. The fuck?
it's mentioned he lost to Mark because he treats his fights like he's just watching them, meaning he doesn't actually take them seriously. So in character, I can see Nappa winning
They have to see
if
him the whole
Conquest is
time.
playing around, but if Conquest is trying to win, there's not really much Nappa can do against him, except for blowing up the planet, which Conquest might be able to escape, where Nappa would probably die in space due to not being able to breathe.
I guess? If Conquest takes them to space, what's stopping Nappa from completely over fucking powering Conquest and just flying him back down to the planet? Hello? What are we talking about? Are you trying to make the argument that Conquest just completely and utterly just like outspeeds Nappa? This guy's channel is fucking something, bro. I don't know. What about Alan? Could Alan destroy a planet? I don't know, cause like a lot of the like scaling for like end of series invincible characters like purely comes based off Mark's fight with Thrag. And if that's the case, then like a lot of these people don't even like scale to the sun, cause I mean Mark and Thrag were fighting in the sun and they were taking like hella damage. So it's like a Ki Blast could easily destroy them. Yeah, he lifted his fingers and leveled the city. Meanwhile, Conquest had to go in the air and fly full throttle at a city to do that same amount of damage. What are we talking about? Nappa has the attack potency to definitely fucking just one-shot Conquest, bro. And even if you wanted the argument that he can't one-shot him because like random omnipotence feats that you want to throw in, definitely it's not a fight that's kinda close. Kinda close is fucking insane. I don't know what he's talking about right there.
I would love to join in a convo, but I don't know too much about Invincible.
Just know this guy's just absolutely fucking troglodyte. He has no idea what he's talking about. How far could Aizen get in JJ? Why is this a 12-minute video? How far could Aizen get in JJK? Are we serious? He one-shots everybody! What are we talking about? What the? What? That should be like a 3-second video. A 3-second video. I'm curious. Okay, this is probably like the last video I'm gonna watch, and I'm gonna hop off stream and like edit a video again. We're gonna watch this, bro. Yeah, he can literally. I'm just curious to know like what he says, because there's no way he makes his argument.
Ku amps,
12 minutes.
as well as his Kyoka Soy.
Yeah, what's up, Inferno? What do you need to say to me? I got you a vid. What's the idea?
Getsu, a man so powerful that with the help of Ichigo Kurosaki, was able to defeat the almighty Quincy Yuha. And with the Bleach anime coming to an end sometime soon, I wanted to see how he would perform against another series that is heavily inspired by Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen. This is mainly a question due to many characters within Jujutsu Kaisen wielding pretty weird and otherwise overpowered hacks, and with things like Gojo's
Not
Limitless and
necessarily.
Sukuna's newly discovered existence Erasure Slash,
Send to my
could
Discord
Aizen run the
if you
entire
can't send a
versus
link. I don't think
pockets,
you- I don't
or does
think you
the
can
verse
send
stand a
links in,
chance
YouTube
against the
chat,
Soul
not
Reaper?
sure.
Before I actually start the video, I'd like to mention how this will be done. Now, I've done videos on a single
holy
character
shit.
versus several other characters before on the channel, so the way it works is like this.
Send
We
it on
drop
Discord, I'll watch
Aizen
it.
into a endless void, and within this void is everyone within the verse of Jujutsu Kaisen. No planet busting, no self-destruction, Aizen versus everyone. Cursed energy and spiritual energy will also be equalized, meaning that yes, they can indeed see Aizen and all of their abilities work on him, and vice versa. And with that out of the way, let's get into scaling Aizen. Now, I believe that scaling within the Bleachverse is very straightforward, even though a lot of people seem to actually struggle on where to place it, with many people
Sent
going
it?
as far as
Okay.
to dead
After this
serious
video,
cap
we'll
it at
watch it.
planetary, or even just straight up say it's something like mountain level, but the first huge feat we would actually receive within Bleach would come from the self-proclaimed strongest Sternritter. Gremmy demonstrated a feat by generating an expanse of outer space. This created space was illustrated to contain a galaxy, suggesting that if Gremmy truly created the outer space, this galaxy would also be a part of it. Some people argue against this notion by suggesting that he simply opened a portal to outer space, but even that is just wrong. Even in the light novels, it is explicitly stated that Gremmy created the depicted outer space, without ever actually mentioning a portal, including the aforementioned galaxy. Gremmy possesses the power to turn any imagination into reality, a form of manipulation known as subjective reality manipulation,
Need a one-shot
which is
after
also
this.
just in line with the fact that Gremmy's entire ability is to turn his own imagination into reality. In the anime, the galaxy isn't present,
Oh my
which
God,
if we're
I-
assuming there's just stars within the created outer space, would potentially get Gremmy into the solar system to potentially multi-solar system ranges of power. If we're using the manga, a galaxy is clearly portrayed within the panel, which we
Every time I hear him fucking speak, it just sounds like the most intelligible fucking thing of all time. I've never met anybody that's like talks, but every single thing they say just somehow sounds wrong, even if it's not. Like he could say 2 plus 2 is 4, and I would still feel like there's something there's something wrong with his math. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to explain it.
established that Gremmy would scale to it as he created it, as creation feats like this will always be above destruction feats, as creating a galaxy from nothing but your own power system is far beyond actually destroying a galaxy using your power system. It's
Wait.
important to
What do you mean that doesn't make him scale the solar system? What? How do you get that? That doesn't give you solar system durability because you were able to make a solar system. Especially not like if you just have a random hacks ability that lets you do shit like that. What? Am I just completely misunderstanding what he's saying? Check it. Let me see. I'll check my chat real quick. Holy fuck! What are we talking about right here, man? Wait, I don't know who you are. I'm sorry. Inferno? Wait, what did you send? You mentioned me, I'm assuming. The drunk or high selfies? No. What did you send? Oh, Discord? Oh, somebody is any of my mods in chat, can you link them to Discord server? It should be. Oh no, I didn't put it in the description of this video, did I? Oh. Hold on. I can do that. If any of my mods aren't here, I think my mods are. If they're not, mods touch them. Give them the Discord link.
I was just about to drop it.
Oh, you got it? Okay. Yeah, he'll do that. My bad. I thought you sent something in the Discord already. It's my fault, man. You're 13?
bro.
13 is crazy. Okay, never mind. We're not
Who?
touching them. We're gonna wait. You don't see the Discord link? What do you mean? No, I didn't drop it. I thought Dean was gonna drop it. Or like one of you guys
I'm
would.
drop. I'm dropping it
To
right
note
now.
that Ichigo surpasses Gremmy in terms of power, and by extension of this, Aizen also scales to it, since within the light novels, it's stated that Yuha not only suffered defeat at the hands of Ichigo Kurosaki, but Sasuke Aizen as well.
So
and
scared.
Aizen
He
does
doesn't even
indeed
pronounce
have
their
more
fucking
spiritual
names
pressure,
right.
so logically
What are we talking? Bro, he doesn't even pronounce their names right. Why are we listening to him? Holy shit.
speaking, he should scale to it, meaning that he is indeed relative to the likes of Ichigo, who massively outscales Kenpachi,
Oh,
who was
I'll
able
take
to
this,
bully
actually.
Gremmy, who actually created an entire outer space that potentially contains galaxy within it, if we're using the manga. Meaning that if we're using the anime, his AP should be anywhere from solar system level to multi-solar system level, and if we're using the manga, he's potentially galaxy. To showcase his incredible speed, Commando Arc Ichigo skillfully dodged a
expired?
Sero attack. The Sero, described as a spiritual light in the data book,
Did you do a infinite join? Not infinite join. Infinite amount of time. Fuck it. Fine, I'll do it myself.
Just said he
He
joined.
said never mind. Never mind. All right.
Yeah.
So, fair enough. I gotta watch this anime right here. People keep telling me to watch it. I'm not sure if I should.
was effortlessly evaded by Ichigo, which, in the context of the story and scaling, the Sero can be considered as fast as light. On top of this, Ulquiorra's attack may be potentially 100 times more powerful than the Sero, as Kisuke explains that Ulquiorra's second resurrection functions in a similar way to
going
a
so
makeshift
long? Hello?
Bankai, granting it a multiplication
Don't they, like,
factor of
explode every
100,
while?
which would place Ulquiorra firmly in the FTL plus ranges, even
Linkiorra.
when considering a conservative estimate, and the fact that Aizen is far beyond that of Ulquiorra by the end of the 1,000-year
Jesus
Blood War.
Christ. I don't
This is
think
a
he's seen this.
massive
I don't think he's
lowball.
watched Bleach.
And this isn't even taking into account the feats that we get later on in the series. As for hacks, well, Aizen possesses Kyoka Soigetsu. The primary ability of Kyoka Soigetsu is complete hypnosis.
True.
When Aizen activates this
for
ability,
saying
he
something
creates an
right.
incredible, powerful, and complex illusion that
Yeah,
affects
you-
all the senses
you
of
said
those
that.
who perceive
Yeah,
it.
make
This
that.
illusion is so convincing that it
send?
can manipulate the
Somebody
perceptions
check.
of not
I don't-
only
what information was
individuals.
Says why Gojo versus Goku is not close.
Is it by the same guy who's making these dumbass fucking videos? I'm not
Is
watching.
his name Seth the programmer?
Oh, no. I've seen this video already. I'm gonna be real with you, bro. I would rather be gangbanged by every single guy on the planet, including the horses, than ever watch a fucking Seth the Programmer video again. I don't want to give him ad revenue. I don't want to hear his voice. Okay, I can't, because I bet it's just stupid. It's just a dumb video. Seth the Programmer, Jesus, I can't watch it. I'm sorry.
Can we rewind it back to the part when you say that you're gonna?
No, we
Never
don't.
mind,
No,
bro.
we don't gotta rewind it. I stand by that statement. I'm not walking it back. I know what I said. Okay, that's why I'm not clicking on the video. Hello, I don't want to be gangbanged, but I'm saying if I had a choice, all right, I know what I'm picking.
Individuals, but also groups of people or even entire environments.
That's a
The
horse,
nature
what you
of
said.
Kyoka Soigetsu's hypnosis is such that once someone sees Aizen's Zanpakuto release, they fall under its influence.
True.
From
At least
that
you got
point
that
on,
right.
Aizen can control what they see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. He can
True.
manipulate their perception of time, space,
Hit
and
another
even
one.
their own bodies. This ability makes it nearly impossible for anyone to distinguish
watch after this
reality
video.
from illusion, as they are completely at Aizen's mercy. The true power of Kyoka Soigetsu lies in the fact that Aizen can activate its hypnosis without the target even realizing it.
True.
By simply being within the range of Aizen's spiritual pressure, individuals can be affected by Kyoka Soigetsu's illusions, often without any prior warning or indication. This makes it an incredibly dangerous ability, as Aizen can use it to deceive and manipulate his enemies to gain a significant advantage in battle. So just to sum that up, Kyoko Soigetsu, Aizen Zanpakuto,
Okay,
grants
he's
him the
saying
power of
this,
complete
to be
hypnosis.
clear, I don't think it's ever stated that Kyoko Suigetsu's like effects are ranged. I think once you're affected by it, you're just infected by it. He like it just doesn't let up unless Aizen releases it to let up.
Oh wow.
Because it's not like he's actively doing it. I'm gonna goon on your head. Somebody time him out for like. I'm gonna let you pick. Time him out. Go ahead.
What?
Someone said I'm gonna goon on your head. Let's get him out of here. Get him the fuck out of here. Actually.
Allowing him to create intricate and convincing
Senzu.
illusions that affect all the senses of those who perceive it, making them unable to distinguish reality from illusion. Now, within Jujutsu Kaisen, there are two ways to actually scale the verse. The
Fuck
first
you.
one being without domain expansions, with things like Jogo creating a fucking meteor and destroying several buildings, which can be calced upwards of city level. Whereas, if we're actually using the domain expansions, can be pretty concretely scaled to Dagon, who creates an entire island using his.
This is so fucking stupid. If I get a gun and I name the bullets Meteor, that does not mean every time I shoot the fucking gun, I'm making a meteor. Just because he named it a meteor, that does not mean it's the actual size or impact of a meteor. What the fuck are we talking about? Can we stop? Hello? Like, do we have any concept of what we're talking about, or are we just trying to get fucking AdSense revenue? Because either way, I'm cool, like, with both, but it's like, what are we talking about? If I say, light speed attack, and I throw a fucking rock at you, that doesn't make the rock I threw at you light speed. It's just the name of the attack. Sure, it looks like it's a meteor. That's why it's called that. These are the same people that would actually call Spider-Man a fucking spider because he has spider in the name, just completely omitting the man. What are we yapping about? It's not an actual meteor. Holy fuck, bro. What the hell are we talking about?
Domain expansion, who several people by this point in the story would massively outscale. And cursed energy is also stated several times to amplify the curse user, meaning that domains, something that is made from one's cursed energy, could scale to the actual person themselves, since even Dagon's domain expansion is capable of being held up by Dagon for several days to possibly weeks at a time, as this is the hideout Kenjaku and the disaster curses were using. As for speed, well, there is many statements of the speed of sound being pretty much just a baseline at this point, as Yuji from the
You don't scale to like your what? You don't scale to like your domain. By that logic, Gojo's just infinite. That's it. He's just infinite knowledge. He's just infinite knowledge. That's what that means. I'm just Jesus fucking. No, we're watching the video you sent, bro. I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about, and it's actually pissing me off. What did you send? Where did you send it? Main chat? Why am I looking at two guys kissing? What the fuck is happening? This motherfucker rickrolled me. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Can't believe he fucking got that off. I'm so mad nobody told me. None of you fuckers watched the video. Just let me get rickrolled.
He told me not to tell you. I was held hostage.
The Shibuya incident was shown dodging Choso's piercing blood, which Yuji during this time actually stated that he would only be able to dodge it half the time, despite him dodging it most of the time, to Maki pre-awakening having Mach 3 feats. However, as I mentioned, this is pre-awakening Maki, who isn't equal to Toji yet, which in my opinion is tremendously lowballing the entire verse in terms of speed, since these statements have contradicting things to them, which is why I find them to be kind of ridiculous. So just to make things a lot more simple, I will be using calcs no matter how debatable it is. The main calc would come from Maki catching Mai's bullet during the Goodwill event, which has a calc that is upwards of Mach 20 or massively hypersonic plus. and as I mentioned, this is Maki during the Goodwill event, who literally got fucking cooked by Jogo in one attack. The same Jogo who was getting manhandled by Sukuna. And another great way of actually scaling the higher tiers within the verse would be within the fight of Kashimo versus Hakari, with Hakari reacting to Kashimo's lightning, which if we consider it to be an actual lightning bolt, as even the chapter itself had a science advisor for accuracy, could potentially also mean that Hakari could react to lightning and is possibly hundreds of times the speed of sound, which is a lot more consistent with the calcs provided, as well as higher tiers like Kenjaku casually dodging piercing blood, which is the speed of sound. The highest form of speed for Jujutsu Kaisen speed would be saying that top tiers within the verse scaled to the speed of Hollow Purple, which, using the fact that it's imaginary mass, would get it to faster than light speeds. No one in the series actually scales to, and the closest thing that we can get to that is Sukuna reacting to a 200% Hollow Purple,
which is not light speed, which is not light speed, it's not light speed. No, it's not. Stop yapping. You're lying. Shut up. Everything you say is a lie. I don't care.
Light ranges of speed. And with the new chapter, Kashimo potentially also scales to this. But as I mentioned, this is merely reaction speed. Although we know that they don't scale to the speed of Hollow Purple in either combat nor traveling speed, as we don't have enough evidence to say that. Even Toji, who Maki should be equal to, was shown getting blitzed by Hollow Purple. Realistically, no one in the series should scale to the speed of Hollow Purple, with the exception of Gojo and Sukuna, and even that is just reaction speed, as I mentioned. Now onto the versus hacks. Now, Jujutsu Kaisen's hacks are of course their curse techniques, as well as their domain expansions, with domains pretty much just having their sure hit effects, which means they're unavoidable by even the likes of Sasuke Aizen. If he's exposed to a domain expansion with things like Mahito's curse techniques being able to attack your very soul and shape it into whatever he wants, and while you're in his domain, you're exposed to the effects without him having to touch you, or Gojo's Limitless that allows him to never be touched, and his domain expansion that floods your mind with limitless information. Just as a quick side note, anyone's attacks that don't have any sort of amplified curse energy such as normal hits, kicks, etc., would do absolutely nothing to Aizen, due to him outscaling many hundreds of thousands to possibly millions of times over. Even if they all somehow landed a normal hit on Aizen, it wouldn't even tickle him. And even characters like Mahito, Toji, and even Maki, who have techniques and weapons to attack your very soul, wouldn't affect Aizen, as it would be very disingenuous to actually say these significantly weaker characters who use soul-based attacks could even damage Aizen, who is legit just a soul who is far, far stronger. Not to mention the significant Jujutsu Kaisen speed disadvantages are at due to them pretty much just capping at.
There is nothing Mahito can do that could affect Aizen. Mahito can sit there and fondle. Mahito can sit there and deep throat Aizen until he starts to choke, and his technique would have no effect on Aizen. Why? Because he's a soul reaper. He's been alive for thousands of years. If anyone in the entire history of fiction is aware of the shape of their soul, it's fucking Aizen. Hello? Mahito could spend the rest of his cursed spirit life eating the inside of Aizen's ass, and he would never be able to get idol transfiguration to work on him. Never. Not once. Jesus, what are we talking about, bro?
FTL, if you were to somehow scale them to Hollow Purple, whereas Aizen extremely lowballed is over 100 times the speed of light, essentially meaning the only thing they could do against Aizen is use their curse techniques or their domain expansions, which is extremely useful for opponents who are significantly faster than you. If we were to ignore the fact that spatial manipulation can actually bypass Gojo's infinity, and the fact that this would potentially mean that anyone who is the speed of light or approaching it could just bypass infinity due to anyone who is approaching the light speed also increases in mass in distorting the space around them, then Gojo would 100% just be the sole reason Aizen would even struggle a little bit. This would also just be ignoring the fact that Aizen is a spirit and the fact that spiritual attacks can potentially just bypass infinity. However, the actual issue comes when Aizen uses Kyoka Soigetsu and just bullies him. We might also just be able to say that any domain expansion could potentially just be negged by Aizen's sheer Ryotsu alone, as in Bleach, you can negate hacks by literally just being stronger in a very similar way to Dragon Ball, And if we're being realistic, they shouldn't even be able to withstand Aizen's spiritual pressure alone. Whereas pretty much any character who even approaches him or is in the proximity of him, even attacks
I don't
like
even know what
Hollow
this is a fucking
Purple,
argument.
wouldn't
Like, yes, and this is the first thing this YouTuber has said in the past hour that I finally agree with. Aizen completely just he actually walks in the verse and they all die. Even if you want to do verse equalization, they do not have the amount of curse energy required to withstand not getting just completely fucking eviscerated by Aizen just simply breathing on them. It's impossible. Kyoka Suigetsu is a stretch. I don't even think Aizen would use his sword, okay? Hogyo-Q not even infused in Aizen's body. What are we talking about? Alright. With that being said, I love you guys. I'm going to pop off stream for now. I'm going to be live again tomorrow. Hopefully we can get a face cam soon so I can stop using this fucking photo of me in a bonnet. But I'm going to try to use a different photo of me every day. But with that being said, I've been Brandon Man. I hope to see you lovely, beautiful people as soon as I can.